Now, last week, World Blood Donor Day took place, and it got us all thinking about blood donation, not just from the likes of you and I, but also from our pets. Yes, our very own dogs can become donors. In fact, over 200 cats and dogs are saving lives every day at the Royal Veterinary College's Queen Mother Hospital for Animals. These wonderful animals come with their owners to donate blood for use in a variety of complex treatments that save the lives of other poorly pets. Well, Dr Karen Humm is the Associate Professor at Transfusion Medicine and Emergency and Critical Care at the RVC, and she joins Anna and myself this evening. Hello, Dr Humm. Hello, you there?
I am here. Can
Lovely.
you hear me okay?
Yes, and as I'm saying, Dr Humm, it is Humm and not Whom. Do correct me if I'm wrong.
It is Humm, but call me Karen, please.
No, it's a lovely name. I just love that. Don't you, Anna?
Yeah, no.
We have such an affinity with the Royal Veterinary College, Anna and I, because it saved our dogs' lives, literally, many a time. So we always love speaking to anybody from there.
We do.
We really do. So welcome to Barking at the Moon. So, do certain breeds have certain blood types?
Well, do you know what they do, actually? So when we think of our... for us, for humans, we think of the A, B and O, and maybe you think of rhesus positive and rhesus negative blood groups. And there are different blood groups in dogs and cats too. And if we're thinking about dogs, they have something called the DEA blood group system. So that's dog erythrocyte, which is a posh word for red blood cell antigen, DEA. And generally, the most important one is whether or not they're DEA1 positive or negative, whether they have that blood group or not. And so there are actually loads of different blood groups, but that's the main one we focus on. And then cats. Do you care about cats so much, or are you more doggy?
No, we do. And Anna has a cat, don't you, Anna?
Oh.
I do. He's called Gremlin.
Lovely.
Yes,
he's cute.
He's quite a big cat, because weight determines whether or not your dog, or indeed your cat, can be a blood donor. Is that right, Dr Karen?
That's absolutely right. Yes. So really, with dogs, we use human blood bags to collect the blood, and so we need our dogs to be fairly big to be able to cope with giving that much blood. With cats, obviously, we can't use human blood bags, but still, we like to use bigger cats who can generally cope to give a bigger blood donation, and that's a little bit more useful. So yes, if you've got a big cat, we'd love to sign him up if he's healthy and well.
Yes.
What is the age limit then? Is there, because I think for humans you can't donate blood after 65, is that right?
I think they've changed it, actually. So there used to be that, and now if you're healthy and well and you're a previous blood donor, you can stay on, but you'd need someone probably from the human blood bank world to tell you that. But from our point of view, we do have an age limit, just to make sure that our dogs and cats are more likely to be very healthy when they enroll, and so we say a limit of 8 years for dogs and 10 years for cats.
Oh, I'm afraid Dr Karen, Gremlin's too old. He's 12 already. So
bless him.
I know.
Well, let him enjoy his older age then.
Yeah,
So being a blood donor.
I know. So Dr Karen, with obviously there's over 200 registered breeds of dogs in this country. Do different breeds of dogs or types of dogs, so working breeds or say toy breeds, tend to have different blood groups? So would you know if a Papillon came in that's been run over and you needed to give a blood transfusion, would you go, right, Papillon, we know that it is? Because there's a few blood groups, is there not, or am I totally wrong?
No, you're completely right. And like I said, the one we care about most is this DA1. And actually some breeds, so for example, like greyhounds are more likely to be DA1 negative. Perhaps Rottweilers are more likely to be DA1 positive. But you can never know for sure without checking. We've got little easy tests that we can do. And the same with cats. So the big blood types in cats are type A and type B. And say British Shorthairs, much more likely to be type B, Siamese, almost exclusively type A. But because it'd be quite dangerous to give the wrong blood to the wrong blood type, you must make sure you test them first. So we always do.
So interesting. And obviously, if they're in an accident and they're losing blood, they need a transfusion. But what diseases require blood transfusions?
Oh, lots of different things. So you're completely right. We do see dogs and cats that unfortunately have, like you said, been hit by a car or something like that, and we need to give them blood. But sometimes they can They can bleed for other reasons. For example, sometimes dogs are a bit silly and they eat rat bait, and that can make them bleed, and they need blood products then. Sometimes we see quite a lot of dogs and cats that have a disease where they attack their own and destroy their own red blood cells, actually. And so we need to give them other animals' red blood cells while we give them treatment to stop them destroying those cells. We see all sorts. We see cats and dogs sometimes with cancer that have low red cell counts, and we need to help bump them up a little bit to help them cope. There are so many diseases where they end up needing a little bit of blood to help them through. So yeah, that's why we're so grateful to our wonderful donors who come in and give the blood to help these other animals. It's amazing.
So the logistics of bringing your dog in, and we'll tell everyone how they can donate or consider bringing their dog in to donate. But what happens? Do they come to the Royal Veterinary College, or do they go to their local vets to give blood? How does it work?
Well, we do have a big blood donor program, and we love to hear from people who think their dog or cat might be happy to be a blood donor. But actually, if you don't live anywhere near the Royal Vet College, and we're based in Potters Bar, then lots of other vets sometimes need blood donors on standby, so you could contact your local vet, or there are other schemes whereby you could get involved if you think your dog or cat might be a good blood donor.
So is there a central place, that keeps all of the blood, Karen, and then, like a distribution unit that would take...
Well, it's not quite like the NHS who organise that in the UK, is it, for humans? So there are different places that organise their own blood donations, and there is a big charity called Pet Blood Bank, and they take blood donations as well up near where they're further up north, and they take blood donations, and they will send blood out to different vet practices when they need. And like I say, individual blood vet practices will sometimes organise it themselves, so it's a bit more ad hoc than it is maybe for human blood donors in this country.
I'm reading what the prerequisites are if you are considering having your dog or cat donate. And really interesting, they must have their yearly vaccinations and regular worming and flea treatments up to date. They must have not travelled abroad. What is that? Is that a risk of rabies or diseases that have been brought in? Is that your concern?
Yeah, so just like with us, there are diseases in humans that we can pass on with blood, like hepatitis or HIV. In the same way, there are diseases that cats and dogs can carry that they can pass on to other, if they donated their blood, they could pass on to the recipients. And some of those diseases are more common, much more common in other countries than in the UK, and partly because they're often transmitted by ticks and certain bugs that we don't have in this country. And so it's easier if they've just never travelled, then we don't have to worry about those diseases so much. But we do have to test all the blood, just like they do with human blood donors, for certain diseases, to make sure we don't, that the blood we collect is safe.
And it's interesting. It says here, and they must never have received a transfusion themselves. Is that because there could be a mix of blood? Is that why?
Well, the blood slowly does go away, but sometimes they develop a reaction and develop antibodies, so a bit of a reaction to the blood they've had, and then they could transmit those antibodies if they gave blood themselves. That could cause a bit of a problem in the recipient. So we don't do that, and that's a real shame, because often people, when they've
want to give back,
receive blood, exactly that. But often, do you know what? Those people are often great advocates. They go out and they tell all their friends and family, or maybe they have another cat or dog in the house that becomes a donor, because they're often very passionate then, because they see how vital the work is, and how amazing these blood donors are, and what great work they can do.
Absolutely. Anna?
Well, I was going to say, if you think about, not being able to use a dog that's been abroad, with the rise in travel abroad, and the weight and so on, is there a shortage of blood? Is there a worry ever, because you're narrowing, and the age limit and so on, narrowing it down a bit?
Yeah, we are really, really fussy. And actually, do you know what? Probably the thing we're most careful of is that they're happy, that the dogs and cats are happy to be involved, because we don't want them to be involved in the programme if they feel stressed by it, or they feel they don't like to be in that situation. And I'm sure plenty of you know of dogs or cats that don't feel happy going into
I
vet
have
practice.
one. Oh, no.
Yeah,
well,
absolutely.
I mean, she won't have her claws done. I mean, that's because that's so interesting. Do they get a tea and a biscuit like, Hancock did?
Absolutely, absolutely they do.
What is the process? Do they just sit down and it's taken out of them? I mean, how long does it take? And how many do panic?
Oh, well, we don't. Well, basically, what we do is we're really, really careful. So first of all, they come in and they have a bit of an assessment, and they don't give blood on the first go. They come in and we check them over, and we check if they seem happy with the process. So we have a vet check and check they're healthy. If they feel like they're not too stressed at that point, we'll do just a blood sample to check for those diseases we were talking about, and check they're happy and their general blood samples are happy and well. And if they seem at all stressed by that process, we just say, look, we don't think it's for you, and that's fine. But if they seem fine with that, then we check all the samples come back fine, and if they do, then great, they come back in, and then we do our first donation and see how they go. And it actually only takes the actual donation only takes a matter of minutes. It's fairly quick.
Oh, that's good.
It's fairly quick. But you know what? We have dogs that drag their owners in because they know, particularly the Labradors, they lie there for a few minutes and they get loads of love and hugs and attention. They get told how wonderful they are, and then they get a big bowl of food. So what's not to love?
No, absolutely. And I mean, gosh, I'm so grateful that they do it. I mean, I'm sure all pet owners are whose animals have needed it. I think it's amazing.
But
we must get the word out there. So for all those people listening who think, gosh, I've got the sort of dog who's got the temperament and it's healthy and it fits all those prerequisites, what's the best way of donating your pet's blood?
Well, just get in contact with us. Like you say, everything is on our website. So if you donate, if you do an internet search for RVC blood donor, then you'll find our website, and you can look there. And there's an email there, which is I think it's blooddonor@rvc.ac.uk. And then and then we'd love to hear from you, and get in touch, and we can provide you with all the details and see. And I know, because actually we do have loads of people come from all over London, so it'd be great if anyone did have a dog or a cat. And you know what, our nurses, sometimes my mum's dog donates, and she is crazy, absolutely crazy, jumps around, and I would never have thought she'd be able to donate blood because she's so silly. She's fun, but she is really silly, and they're brilliant with her. They're like dog whisperers. And she just lies there really calmly, and then, like I say, pleased as punch afterwards. She's so proud of herself because everyone's telling her how wonderful she is, so she knows she's done something great.
I think it's so altruistic. I think it's absolutely brilliant that owners, encourage their dogs to do this, and that you are part of the programme. We've really enjoyed speaking to you, Dr. Karen. Thank you for coming on. And again, go to the Royal Veterinary College, their website, or you go to RVC. And as Karen said, go to RVC and then blood donors, put blood donors in, and it will all be there. Karen, final question for Anna and myself. Do you have a dog of your own?
Do you know what? I don't at the moment, and it's a little bit sad, but the lovely thing about my job is that I can go in and cuddle dogs and cats every day, so that's what makes it a little bit better, and that's what I do. I think that's why I love my job so much.
Well, we thank you very much, because as we say, the Royal Veterinary College has literally saved our dogs' lives in the past, so thank you very much indeed for coming on.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It's been lovely.